that said that the suspected shooter did leave campus, that the shooter did run away. We've not been out and about in the neighborhood to see any kind of active efforts to locate a suspected shooter. We've really just been here on campus communicating with parents, trying to gather more information about what specifically occurred here. And just moments ago, Mobile Police confirming, that shots were fired, that we do have a victim who was injured, non-life-threatening injuries, and that this is not an active shooter situation. Darwin. Okay, well, one thing that from experience of going to crime scenes, and this now is a crime scene, is that school will be very cordoned off in that area where it happened, because there will be an investigation that will require, we've all seen crime scenes on the streets where there have been markers put out and so forth. That all has to happen. And so that school will be in a very unusual state for a school in for the next several hours. They'll have to be sure that that scene is secure. And remember, they're surrounded by a lot of kids, so it may be a little while before those kids are dismissed to go to their parents, because they have to make sure everything is secure, the crime scene is intact, correct? And from what we gathered from listening to parents, this occurred in a hallway. This has not been confirmed by police or by the school district. And again, from parents, what we are hearing is that the school is still in lockdown. We can see kids who are waving at parents. Well, it looks like they're not now. They were just a few minutes ago. We had kids kind of waving through the windows, waving at people that they knew, just letting them know that they were okay. But parents telling us that this occurred in a hallway. We did see the director of communications, Renee Phillips, arrive here on scene just a short while ago, heading inside the campus here, and we've been reaching out, to get some more information from the school system itself about what occurred here, and we're just waiting on word from them. Darwin. Most likely she's trying to gather that information to share with us right now. We're also, as you might expect in a newsroom, we hear a lot of radio traffic and things like that, and we have heard a lot of things that we cannot confirm, and we hesitate in a situation this serious to share some of that information, because some of it is very pertinent to what police are doing right now. So, but just be sure, just know that police have cordoned off the entire area, and they are looking in that entire neighborhood, from what we're able to hear right now, to find out who might be responsible for this. Andrea, we want you to stand by and keep us up to date. In fact, you are our eyes and ears right now. So is there any indication that this may have spread outside? You say it was just contained in the hallway. There doesn't seem to be any police looking at a particular scene outside the school. Right now, Darwin, what we have are parents banging on the front door of the school, saying, "Let me in, let me in." That's what you're hearing right now. It appears to be a parent. Is your student inside, ma'am? Do you have a student inside, ma'am? Have you gotten any official word from the school system about what occurred today, ma'am? Okay, you haven't gotten any alerts from the school system about what's going on? Okay. And Andrea, it looks like there is a police officer coming outside the school right now. We just saw in the background a police officer stepping outside. I don't know if he can share anything with us, but he was just walking away from the front door right now. Parents, I'm sorry, Andrea, go ahead. Yeah, it appears, Darwin, that an officer was just walking out here to the patrol car. But, we've got a growing scene here of parents arriving on campus, really desperate for more information to make sure that their student's okay. For the parents who are fortunate enough to have their children who have cell phones that are able to communicate, there's some relief there if they're able to talk to them directly. And I was actually overhearing some of these conversations where the parents, talking to the student, asking about what happened, and you can see them, a sigh of relief that they know that their student's okay. I've also talked to a parent who was not able to communicate with their child, and they're extremely upset, extremely stressed out, wanting to make sure that their child is okay. So you see kind of this desperation with some of the folks. Again, a gentleman banging on the front door saying, "Let me in." These parents just want to know that their child is okay here at school. Okay. But again, this is not an active shooter situation. One juvenile, non-life-threatening injuries. Okay, Andrea, we understand that the chief is preparing to make some statements not very far from you, Clinton and Donald Street, which is a corner of the school campus. So we'd like you to still keep your shot up if you can and make your way to that location, because we do want to keep a live camera up there. We do have other crews en route to other locations right now. But that's something that you might want to check on. We could get some answers from the chief in the next 3 to 4 minutes, and if that's the case, we'll have that live for you as photographer Mike Corey and Andrea Ramey are covering this for us right here. That is at Clinton and Donald Street, I believe. We're getting ready to, we're making our way there right now. There goes Andrea and Michael. Once again, if you're just joining us and we want to keep you up to date on this, very important to let you know, yes, there has been a shooting at LeFlore High School. One student shot, non-life threatening, but the important thing you need to know, parents, as some of you reach for the car keys and the coat, is that there is not an active shooter situation there. All the kids are safe. We don't have any reports of any extremely serious injuries. Once again, one student is at the hospital right now. So we just want to let you know that you can breathe a sigh of relief right now as far as your student is concerned, most likely because the school is still on lockdown, but from what we understand, the students are okay. Now, Andrea and Michael are walking toward the corner of Donald and Clinton Street. We've been told that the chief will be talking to the media there in just a few minutes, and I'm sure he wants to get the information out as soon as possible because the longer that this situation goes without an official comment from either the school system or the police department, the crazier things get on social media. We all know that, and sometimes what you see on social media might be the truth. Very often it is not, and that's why we like to get our information from reliable sources such as the Mobile Police Department and the school system. And Andrea said just a moment ago that Renee Phillips, who is a spokesperson for the Mobile County Public School System, she just arrived at the scene. No doubt she's getting a briefing so she can share information with us in just a few minutes. That does take some time, and she wants to be accurate as any public information officer would want to be. They want to make sure they got the facts right, because once they put them out there, it's hard to take them back. And that's why coming from the chief, information from the chief is so important, because he's the head honcho. He is the one that was ultimately responsible for information released, and he is going to make sure that whatever comes out of his mouth is going to be as accurate as it can be for the moment. So once again, we're just kind of hanging in here until that happens. We were told it was imminent, and so we don't want to break away until we get that important information from Mobile's police chief. And we are awaiting that moment right now. This happened a little after 12, I believe between 12, 12:30 if I'm not mistaken, but there was a report of shots fired inside LeFlore High School. And we do know that at least one student has been wounded and taken to the hospital. We have been told it is not life-threatening, which is definitely good news. Andrea's heard from parents that there could possibly have been some sort of altercation between a male and a female student inside the school in a hallway. And so that is now a protected crime scene. And the police department will be going over that very thoroughly. They have to make sure no students get into that area right now because everything there is bits and pieces of evidence. So they have to watch it and make sure it is secure. So that's probably one reason why they don't want to let the kids out right now. But hopefully very soon, and it does look like we're seeing more activity right now. We may be getting some progress in toward letting some of the students out. But then again, too, they have to find witnesses. If it's a hallway and if it was at the changing of classes, there could have been quite a few witnesses. So the police department is looking for those witnesses too, and that's probably another reason they want to keep the students locked in there. They know they're safe. There go some parents, and of course they're concerned, but they want to know the students are safe. Of course they do. But we've been told they are. And once again, if you're wondering why does it take so long, because really it's not been that long, it's 1:06 right now, but it is to a worried parent. They have to make sure that they find all the witnesses they can and they document the crime scene. So we should be able to see some sort of action in just a little while, perhaps with the students coming out, but that may take a little bit of time, so please be patient. Of course, you see some parents talking with police officers right now. Once again, if you're just joining us, let me up-to-date you as we continue to wait for Mobile's Police Chief Paul Prine to arrive at the scene and talk to the media, which we are told he will be in just a moment. A student has been shot at LeFlore High School. This happened shortly around noon this day, and we do know one student received a wound that put him in the hospital. It's not called life-threatening right now. We had heard possibility of a second person that had been hurt Not sure exactly the extent of that injury, but we have not got that confirmed yet from the police department. But the important thing to note here is nothing life-threatening at this point. Now, as far as who did the shooting, we have heard that a suspect is being sought either by now I'm sure off campus, and police are looking in that area right now. And so if you live in that area around LeFlore High School, you see something unusual, something out of place, someone that should not be where they are now, you might want to call the police department and let them know. That could be very important to them. So we still wait now for the Mobile Police Chief Paul Prine to make a statement. Renee Phillips with the police department, with the school system, is inside the school right now gathering information. And this does take a while sometimes to get to that point where students can be released. But parents, once again, we want to assure you that from what we have heard, no students are in danger right now. This is not an active shooter situation. And we are still awaiting word on what exactly happened inside LeFlore High School.
Your shot's still up.
So we're just going to check in with Andrea. If you're listening, do you have anything new to tell us, or are you still just trying to get into position?
Yeah, Darwin, we were told to go to one corner of the campus here where the chief would meet us, but we didn't see any activity there. It appears there's more people gathered down here, so we're walking down at the side of the school here.
This is a pretty good sized school too, campus, so you're definitely getting some steps in there because it is a large campus. We're hearing some shouting. I'm sure some parents very concerned still. You see them on the phone.
Yeah, Darwin, it appears that there's someone being treated here on the scene. It's hard to see. He's in the shadow.
All right, that's interesting. It could be someone overcome with emotion. It could be.
Thomas, could you hand your phone to Leon?
I'm going to ask that my producer repeat that. Okay, we do. My producer telling us that an ambulance, a new dispatch of an ambulance occurred about 2-3 minutes ago. So there's another ambulance en route to the scene. Now this is well after.
Yeah, we were told to be.
We see somebody being treated there. This is well after, of course, the incident has occurred.
I didn't see the gentleman.
So this could be maybe someone overcome with emotion.
We're live.
Okay, well.
Okay. Is this the individual that?
This is getting a little more complicated now. Some other gunshots were heard in the area.
Okay, hey Darwin.
Yes, yeah.
All right, let's go over and talk to the chief. Okay, hey Darwin, we see the chief over here. We're going to walk over and get some information.
Oh, please do.
It appears they're treating an individual on the side of the school that's not the gunshot victim.
Very good. Okay.
That's just an individual that is being treated, and we're not showing that individual at this time.
Okay.
But we are walking over to where the police chief is addressing the media right now.
Very good. All right.
Just bear with us as we walk over.
No problem. Andrea, we are our eyes and ears out there, you and Michael Corey, our photographer, and we appreciate what you're doing and bringing us accurate information. It's so crucial right now.
But unfortunately, another student that we believe was not involved in the altercation was struck by a round, and that child has been transported to a local hospital and is being treated for the wounds. We believe right now that both injuries to both juveniles are non-life-threatening at this time. Obviously, this is a big deal being here at a school, and we'll continue to investigate it. But both of the victims that were shot were juveniles, and the shooter is also a juvenile. The shooter has not been taken into custody. That juvenile fled the school, and we are in contact with the parents of that student. And if the parents are watching right now, we're asking for those parents to go ahead and do the right thing and contact the police department and turn that child in so we can get to the bottom of what took place today.
Did you recover the firearm, or do you believe the shooting's
As of right now, the matter's investigation. I'm not going to give you a lot about the evidence at this time. You know, certainly that's part of the ongoing investigation. There's a lot that goes into that, is why we won't answer that. But we'll certainly see it through to the end. I'm very confident the parents will do the right thing, and I'm certainly confident we'll bring this matter to a close today.
Well, without speaking about the evidence, do you have reason to believe this student that is outside is armed?
Yeah, so the student is no longer at the school, and we don't believe that anybody in the community is a threat. So that's really a good point. Thank you for clarifying that.
Can you talk about the genders of the victims and the shooters?
I won't at this time. Certainly they're juveniles. We're very limited on the information that we can give involved, but certainly once we take the person that is responsible for the shooting into custody and make the appropriate arrest and get to the bottom of this whole entire situation, then we may be able to give you the demographics of the students at that time.
Okay.
Was the gun just carried in a backpack?
Yeah, that'll be a part of the investigation.
And I'm sorry, we were walking up as you began to address the media, but you were saying that there were actually two individuals struck by.
There's two juvenile students that were struck. The initial intended juvenile that the other person shot at was grazed, and it's a superficial wound from what we understand. The second child that was shot suffered a gunshot, we believe, to